Hi everyone, we are doing a Bloomburrow draft. So what do we have here? So Gev is really good. Like, it's really not hard to get creatures into play with counters on them, especially if they're lizards, because the trigger happens and the lizard comes into play. It is a gold card. I do like Flame Gash Gecko a fair bit. Take out the trash is quite good. I'm not a huge believer in cash grab so far. I'm interested to see what the data ultimately says about that card, because I know some people are pretty high on it, but I haven't been impressed so far, but it is early. So, I mean, Gev is like a better card than Take Out the Trash, and, you know, Flame Catch Gecko probably has a higher ceiling than Take Out the Trash, but Take Out the Trash is good in a wider variety of situations and not a gold card. So it's kind of where I'm leaning here. Yeah, I mean, it is a little bit of a bummer that there's so much good red stuff in this pack, but we'll just take Cash Grab. Or Take Out the Trash, rather. Okay. Intrepid Rabbit is great. You know, I had it as the best white common coming into the set. Think it probably lives up to the hype. Bright Blade Stoat is good, but the Rabbit might just be better. It just delivers so much synergy. You know, this is just like a rate card, pretty much. I mean, it has a little bit of synergy because putting counters on it and stuff matters. Night Fisher's also pretty good. Pathmaker's pretty good. But I'm leaning Rabbit. I just think it's better than all these cards, even better than Night Fisher. Yeah. Yep. So we'll take it. Maybe we end up being red-white. Valiant, you know. Maybe we don't. Guess we'll see. This is a great card for it. It's good in green-white, too, but, you know, they really price this Offspring to move. Anytime they, you know, there aren't that many cards, even rare ones, where they put Offspring 1 on it, and it's like, wow, so I get a whole free token for 1 more mana, and it gives other value. You know, that's pretty great. Splash Lasher, I think, is really good. Yeah, I mean, the red cards here aren't that exciting. Like, I'm kind of leaning towards Splash Lasher just because I think it's the best card in this pack. I think it is what we'll take. Like, you know, if you don't Offspring it, it's pretty good. If you do Offspring it, it's really good. And I haven't gotten to play, like, the Frog Value deck yet, which I'd like to. You know, it is blue-green, so given what our picks look like right now, it may not happen. But the good news is this is just good in all the blue decks. You know, you don't have to be doing Frog Value things for it to be good. But yeah, I think it's just the best card in this pack. Yeah. Wishing Well is not good, though. In fact, it's, I think, pretty much unplayable. So this pack's interesting. We've got a couple of really good green cards still here that I think are both, like, first pick quality. Hivespine Wolverine, even though I read it incorrectly in the set review, as I've discussed elsewhere, is still really good. Not quite a B+, more like a B-, but it's still great. The duo is really good, sets up all kinds of synergy. There's also an Agate Assault, which is good. Like, it's a nice card, and same for Parting Gust. Like, these are both cards I would play if I'm in white or red, but I don't think either of them are as good as either of these cards. So they just deliver so much value for what they are. You get 2-for-1 style value out of both of them a lot of the time, and I think I like the Wolverine a little bit more than the other guy. Okay, so maybe we will end up blue-green, huh? Because I do like a reasonable amount anyway into the Floodmaw and Dire Downdraft. I like Sunshower Druid okay. So yeah, we're looking at these blue cards. Dire Downdraft is pretty nice removal. The Druid is just like a nice 1-drop that gives you okay value all game long. Like, it's never nuts, but it's always pretty good. And that's, you know, a good place to be. I do think I like Dire Downdraft a little bit more than I like the Druid. And, okay, some good red cards are still here. So maybe that random Hivespine Wolverine was an anomaly, although we also had the Baker's Bane duo in that pack. Do I like Pathmaker more than the Slinger? I probably do. It's hard for me to say no to 2-for-1s, especially early in a format where, like, you know, tried and true 2-for-1 is a good place to go. So we'll take the Pathmaker here. So there's another Intrepid Rabbit. This has been a weird draft, but this, I mean, and there's also a Mouse Trapper. I mean, I feel like that has to be a signal, you know. We've seen some good blue stuff, but this is like a really loud signal to me that white is open, more than, like, you know, these random fine cards, but not like, premier creatures for your deck. So I think we'll take the rabbit here. And we see some more solid white cards. Okay. Life Pre-Duo is fine. I like it more than the Provisioner. The Warden's okay. I'm probably going to take the Duo. It's nothing exciting, but neither were any of those other cards. And we kind of need some low drops. So we might be red-white. It feels like white's open enough for us to be there. It does feel like that. Maybe there were a million good green cards in that Baker's Bane Duo Hivespine Wolverine pack. I don't know. It was weird seeing both of those. I guess I thought that was a pretty loud signal green was open, and things haven't really panned out that way since then. There is a cash grab here, so, if it's legit, it is pretty late for it to still be here. I do like Ravine Raider. It sets up the black-red aggro deck pretty well. If we end up being a red-white deck that goes wide, like, Valley Rally kind of works out, and I don't think it's out of the question that we end up there, given what our deck looks like right now. So I think I'm going to go ahead and grab the Rally. All right, we'll grab a Provisioner here. I mean, these blue cards are okay, but it feels, we have solid white cards showing up pretty late here that I do think this is better than Dazzling Denial and the Hermit are overall. So I think we're going to be red-white, but this has been a little bit of a strange pack. Out of the drafts I've posted, I did 3 during the pretty late Light Shell Duo. The Cleric's okay if we want to be red-white, but I might take a blue card here, just because I do think it's better than the Cleric. I've had a lot of drafts that had weird signals in this format so far, is what I was trying to say before getting some more weird signals. So, are we red-white? Maybe. We've also got 3 solid... there's an okay red card. We have some solid blue cards and a really good green card. So, Storm Chaser's talent, I think, is really good. If we were going to be blue-red, especially, it's a nice place to be. We do have another Gecko, which I think is good even outside of black-red, but it's definitely better there. We've also got a Banishing Light, which is always great. So, as much as I like the talent, it's not an insane rare by any stretch. Like, it's not that easy to get that much value, to get it all the way to level 3. Like, you're mostly leaning on 1 mana, 1/1 prowess, then you get a spell back later, which is plenty good, but it's not like a bomb or anything. So I am sort of leaning towards just taking, like, good red or white card here. And yeah, I mean, Banishing Light is kind of hard to say no to, so I think it is what I'll go ahead and take here. Star Charter is really good, but you kind of have to be in black-white. Like, you have to be able to gain life and trigger it, like, the turn it comes down most of the time for it to be worthwhile. Got some more good removal here. We've got a Bravekin Duo, which is a good Valiant enabler. Right now, we're not that good at... We don't have that much Valiant. We have some ways to enable Valiant, but not that many cards with it. So I'm sort of leaning towards just taking another really efficient removal spell here and being happy with it. It does open up the door more to pivoting into blue-red, potentially, too. Like, if we take good spells, which, that is definitely a possibility. This is another bad blue rare. There's been a couple in this draft that just, they're just cards that don't work out in limited. They both have cool designs, the Wishing Well or whatever it is, and Portent of Calamity, but they're definitely not, they weren't designed with limited in mind, that's for sure. And not all cards have to be, or should be. Ooh, Salvation Swan. Okay, yeah, I'll take that. It's great. It lets us rebuy. We have a few cards that'll let us rebuy ETBs on right now already. I just think it's one of the better cards in the set. Didn't quite make my top 10 bomb list, but I do think it's a bomb. The fail case is that you play like a slightly above rate flyer that gives something else flying permanently. And then you have all these modes where you blink stuff, blink something out of removal or rebuy an ETB, and then things can get pretty silly. Then there's this pack, though, which doesn't really have anything I'm that excited about. I guess we're going to take a Roughshod Duo. Like, there are good green cards here. Galewind Moose, these are all 3 of these are good green cards, that our Hivespine Wolverine would not mind being with. But I feel like that ship has sailed. I guess if we keep seeing signals like this, though, maybe it won't sail. So War Squeak, if we're going to be really aggressive, isn't bad. Right now, we're not that good at being aggressive, is our problem. So I may just take the Cleric, which is kind of hard for us to cast, but it's fine. I do think Head of the Homestead is probably better, but we need lower stuff on our curve more than we need higher stuff. It's also just a Repel Calamity here, isn't there? Yeah, let's just take that. Or like a red-white control deck or something at this point, which is weird, but hey. So here's Seedglaive Mentor. Definitely take it. Like, if I had, you know, I do have a wish list the rest of the way. It's like a bunch of 1s, 2s, and 3s with Valiant, you know. Oh, okay, well, we'll take another Mentor, certainly over, you know, this card, which I think is pretty good in the right deck, black-white mostly. It's not bad in blue-white either, and like mediocre removal spell. We'll take another Signpost. Maybe we'll pick up some late War Squeaks and stuff like that, to make it even better, but you know, we've already got 2 Intrepid Rabbits, which go great with this sort of thing. So another Pathmaker, another Witness. I mean, I think the Pathmaker is probably better for us, especially if we can lower our curve more. So I mean, there is something to be said for just 4 mana, 2/4 Vigilance, even if we never trigger the other stuff. But I feel like Pathmaker is probably better for us. Yeah, I mean, Lupin Flower Village is probably better for us than the Spark Shooter is, so can hit our Salvation Swan with it. Okay, nice to get a Bravekin Duo here. It's a nice enabler for all the stuff, and it's also, you know, what I really need are low curve things to help balance out our deck, because right now we're like pretty heavy on removal and not that heavy on creatures. Well, we actually have 13 creatures. It sort of feels like we're not, but a lot of them are higher curve or things I don't want to play that much. Like, I don't really want to play a Spark Shooter if I can help it. We have so much removal that I actually think I'm going to take the Mascot here. You know, there's a good chance it doesn't make the cut, but if we end up wanting fixing for some reason, it does it. So, and it's also a low drop, which is something we need a little more. But, like, I kind of hope I don't play a Spark Shooter, or, yeah, that's what it's called. And, like, I don't really want to play 2 Pileated Provisioners. Wildfire Howl is such a weird card. I mean, I get what they're doing with it. Like, it can do a lot of cool stuff. Like, you can use the 1 damage to actually hit your own thing to trigger Valiant if you want to, and you can ping your opponent for your black-red stuff, but it's a red sweeper in a format where red is mostly aggressive, so it's like, I don't know what's going on there. Okay, well, it's not a very exciting pick, but I think we're pretty happy with Raccoon Rallier. Like, we really need a 2-drop. It helps trigger Valiant, so there you go. You know, it's definitely not what you want to be picking. This pack has 3 nice Signpost uncommons in it, but given what our current needs are, I definitely think we want the Raccoon Rallier. Ooh, Tender Wild Guide is really good, but not for us. So, how many mice do we have? I feel like we have a decent number. Yeah, we've got 4. You know, this is better the more mice you have. I think it's probably better for us than Thistledown Players or a War Squeak, so I think we'll go with it. Okay, unfortunately, Builder's Talent kind of stinks. It's very hard to build around in Limited. Cool card. Jolly Gerbils is just like a good 2-drop, and I think we might have 1 gift card. I mean, maybe we don't. Either way, I think it's probably what we want here more than Thistledown Players. I mean, we need 2-drops, and it's got nice stats, and if we have a random gift card, you know, drawing cards is nice. Okay, so I do like Feather of Flight a lot in, you know, this style of deck. Probably more than War Squeak. Like, it does the same thing, except it can do it at instant speed, and it draws you a card up front. So, yeah, it's what we'll take. I'm not sure about Carrot Cake in this style of deck, but it doesn't seem terrible. It's kind of a 2-drop, right? And it gives us a body. I mean, it's not the fastest, best 2-drop ever, but I think I want it more than a 3rd Pathfinder or a 2nd Mascot, so. Do we have a random gift card? I was sort of thinking we do, but I don't. Now that I'm looking, I'm not seeing it. I was thinking maybe we had the 1 in a red do 2 damage to something. Oh, we do have one. We have Valley Rally. That's right. And do we want another Valley Rally here? I mean, we're not good with Kindle Spark Duo. We're not terrible with Rabbit Response. Like, we're reasonable at going wide. Not as good as I would like. I guess maybe the gift thing with our Jolly Gerbils is enough for me to say, let's go with Valley Rally. It's a more of a legit trick sometimes, and that is one thing our deck could really use, is some tricks, whereas the +2/+1 thing, it's less of a trick because the 1 toughness boost isn't that likely to save your creature in combat, whereas like the first strike here makes a difference. So we have so much removal that I'm thinking Head of the Homestead here more than Agate Assault. Yeah. Well, random Nettle Guard or Steam Path Charger. This is a mouse, and we have a couple reasons to care about that. I think it's probably better for our deck, plus the Valiant thing, obviously. Jolly Gerbils is pretty cute. It is a little weird that it's a hamster, but you know, it's whatever. You know, I don't know how they determine. They pared a lot of stuff down for these animal creature types in this set, which I think was good, like making Nagas into lizards and making what was the other one that is affected by this set? Yeah, I'll take a Grotto. I mean, I doubt we're going to use it. But they've combined a bunch of creature types together, but then there's some where they're doing it, and it's like, what are you doing? Because, you know, gerbils and hamsters are closely related, but they're not the same thing. Well, we do have a War Squeak if we want one. Other people clearly aren't that into cash grab either. Whether that holds up, don't hate a random Thistledown players. I think our deck turned out okay in the end. You know, picking up those 2 Seedglaive Mentors on kind of went the way we wanted it to. I kind of doubt we play Carrot Cake in the end. It's definitely more for green-white than it is for us, or even black-white, like making a couple bodies, gaining some life. It's definitely another War Squeak. Druid of the Spade. All right. So, I think our curve turned out okay in the end. And we ended up with some Valiant stuff like I was wanting. Yeah. We probably don't play the mascot in the end. Yeah. Do I want War Squeak is a question. Probably do play the players. Probably do play the duo. I don't know about 2 Valley Rallies. Or 2 Pileated Provisioners. I'd probably go down to 1 there. So, would I rather have like a cheap way of triggering Valiant that also lets us get in for a bunch? Or like a more expensive way? I mean, I'd probably cut 1 Valley Rally. And yeah, kind of looking at War Squeak. I do think Feather of Flight's better, so I don't think that's really on the table. Like, I think we have enough ways to trigger Valiant that we don't really need the Squeak. Yeah, I mean, it's fine, but it is... I'd rather have creatures or removal or, you know, things that do something other than trigger Valiant, and that's mostly what it does. So, yeah. All right. Looks pretty solid to me. I do think we play this, even though the mana is a little awkward. You don't need the double white till late, and the 3 bodies it gives you is pretty nice. So, also works well as Salvation Swan, so there you go. Okay. So, it is awkward that we didn't get any low drops. Is that enough for me to send this back? I kind of don't think so. I mean, going down to 6 cards is so bad. And it's not like we don't, you know, we're on the play, so having 3s is pretty good. And if I could go Seedglaive Mentor into, like, Intrepid Rabbit with Offspring, like, that's fine. I mean, it's definitely not our best hand, but maybe we'll draw a 1 or 2 or something. And if we don't, it's not a disaster, you know. Generally, it's hard to send back a hand when you have both your colors and you're on the play and you have 3 drops, like... At least in most formats. You know, if this one is blistering fast, this may be an unkeepable hand, but I kind of don't think it is. Let's draw a 2-drop, though. That would make me feel a lot better. That's for sure. Dang it. So, I wonder whether I'm going to feel like sending the Mentor in. Ugh, now I really don't feel like it. because they just made it really bad for me to do that. I mean, I do have Valley Rally next turn to do the thing. So I could play the Mentor and not attack with it. Yeah, I've got a lot of options next turn. So let's go ahead and play the Mentor and see what happens. Definitely don't want to attack into a creature that's going to give them food. Like, that's pretty bad. Like, I'd rather them use a removal spell on it than trade for Vine Reap Mentor. So, by all means, do the thing. Yeah, we are going to take 3. Yeah, that's not good. Luckily, they don't have anything in their graveyard right now. Oh, that changes things a bit. Not as much as I would like, because we don't have a 4th land would be nice. I guess I'm going to do the Valley Rally thing here. I mean, giving them food could end up being really bad, I guess, given their deck. But, like, if I kill Osteomancer Adept here, that is pretty good. And if they just take the hit, I just play, like, Thistledown players and put a counter on the Mentor. So, yeah, I think it's fine. Alright, so yeah. Now we just, we go with the players. Just to get a counter, basically. Oh. Or not. Has to be tapped, huh? To be able to target it. Oh, it's when it attacks. Read cards. Yeah. Well, that's probably still what I would do. Maybe the rabbit's slightly better, but... I'm going to take 3 again. Like, if we can keep our board intact... We can do a bunch of damage, obviously. So... Yeah, I had enough of that. They do lose a creature, so, like... Oh, but then they can get it back. That's pretty sweet. That is pretty sweet. Does have a finality token counter now, so that means it doesn't make a food when it dies now. Among other things, but that's one of the things it means. I could just do Intrepid Rabbit, Offspring here, smash in for 5. Seems pretty good. I do really need to find removal for this freaking thing, which we have a ton that can kill it, but we don't have it right now. I mean, the Pathmakers would get us closer to finding it, I suppose. But yeah, I think this is what we do. Offspring. Untap itself. So yeah, if I like trade here, like last time, well, that's weird. That's a weird glitch. Yeah, I'm just gonna take 3. With Valley Rally in my hand, I really have very little reason to do anything other than hold on to my board. Alright, so we finally drew removal for that freaking thing. It might not work, but I think we probably go for it. It's probably safer to do that than try to do Valley Rally nonsense. So, yeah. See what happens. There are several tricks that can save this thing. Okay, apparently they didn't have one. We're going to attack. You're going to untap yourself. Polywallop, huh? Yeah, I can't really do anything about that. Feather of Flight doesn't help me there. So we'll just get in for 4. Probably. I'm trying to decide if I should just cast Feather of Flight now. If I'm going to, I should have just done it. The reason being, if they have mana up, they can really hurt me. They're much less likely to be able to do it here. At least here I get to draw the card no matter what, so I think I'm just going to go for it. Should I have gotten in for 1 more damage? Yes, but, you know, what are you going to do? Yep, take 3. Yeah, reach is annoying, but luckily not Hivespine Wolverine. Glad it's at the bottom now. Okay. Well, we're going to attack with Intrepid Rabbit. And they can start gaining life to try to win this race, which certainly works. Then do I play the Pathmaker? I can use it to trade with the Mentor and not feel too bad about that. But I could also do this, at which point Valley Rally gets a lot more potent. So I'm kind of thinking we do that. So yeah, they can go up to 10 here. They might use the cash thing, which would be annoying. They'll get a food and something back from their graveyard. Oh, it's Peerless Recycling, okay. That's annoying, but, like, I think we're okay. They can't use it right away to cast something. So I just attack with everything next. Like, if they play that and pass, we just attack with everything next turn, and Valley Rally can do an assortment of things. Now we have Salvation Swan in the mix, too. All right, yeah, so we swing with everything here. Let's see what happens. I do give them more food, which is kind of funny, but... So, if I do the buff here, this will get big enough. Yeah. I think we do it. I mean, it does a ton of damage. I have to sack their food. Everything on their board is dead, so we'll give them the food. Give this +2/+0. So this is 9. If they don't sack food now, they're dead. Okay, they decided to just give up. They could have survived, but... Didn't really seem like either of our decks were really firing on all cylinders there. We were both sort of trying to do things and not actually doing that much, but yeah, I guess they were sort of flooded and we were sort of mana screwed, so. Too bad I didn't have my gerbil in play. Drawing a card off of that would have been nice. Okay, another hand. At least we have 2 mana spell, so that is, you know, our deck's problem probably is that we don't have as many 1s and 2s as you'd like in red-white. So still having back-to-back hands where we don't have a 1 or 2 drop is a little bit of a bummer. Even, I mean, our deck has enough of them that we should have one most of the time, but I wonder whether this is like less good in this format than it would be in most, just because there's so many small creatures. But there's still enough big ones that you kind of have to answer that I don't think that's the case. Hasn't felt great to me so far in the format, though. So yeah, I mean, if we kill their 2-drop with this and then play Thistledown players, it's not the worst start. It's not great, but it's not the worst start either. Oh yeah, that's actually one that I feel really good about killing. So now I feel really good about it. Really. Should we play Roughshod Duo so we get to Rummage if we do this again? It's not as good of an attacker as Thistledown players is, but if I kill their thing, it doesn't really matter. So, and if I play the Pathmaker, well, then things really look up. Ugh. Well, I don't really need to do that. Let's attack. I've got 2 blue up. I'm trying to decide if I want to cast Take Out the Trash here to kill that. The only thing is, like, it's going to get bigger and stuff, but I'm going to be able to kill it later in any number of ways. So I think just adding another body to the board is probably better. So yep, that's a buff. Right, there's our 4th land. So I could do Take Out the Trash and Repel Calamity here. Smash in for 7. That seems pretty good. Do I want to Rummage? I kind of don't think I do with what we're going to have in our hand. Yeah. So let's Take Out the Trash. We're going to decline. And let's Repel Calamity. Drop them to 10. You'll untap yourself. So, like, if they play another creature here, I remove it. I hit them for 6. That's pretty good. Yep, and that's what they're doing. And, yeah, no, that's the game plan. They're down to 4. Pathmaker will trigger this next turn. Yeah. So yeah, we'll play the Pathmaker. Then what should I buff? I guess the players. Yeah, they'll have to block the players and go to 1 if I do that. Because they'll be lethal on their own. It's not quite good game, but okay. Again, we didn't really have a crazy curve out or anything in that game. We just played a couple dudes and removed theirs and kept hitting them for 6. I mean, you know, that'll add up, but it didn't really feel like what I expected this deck to feel like so far. Okay. So this time we have too little mana potentially. But if we just draw 1 land, it's a pretty great hand. I mean, I think I keep it. Drop this on turn 2, potentially. Yeah, I mean, it's not a great hand, but it's another one that's sort of on the border where I don't think I can send it back either. don't think it makes sense to do. I mean, do I wish this 5-drop was like a 2-drop or a land? Well, a land would be great, but, you know, what are you going to do? I could play this on 1. Is there a reason to do it? I guess there is. In terms of setting things up later, so yeah. Let's just run it out there. We did finally get a 1-drop, I guess. It's just sort of kind of a funny hand. Ooh. Well, I was complaining about this provisioner. Let's throw it away. Okay, well, I really need to draw a 3rd land. If I do, I'm going to feel pretty good about things. But if I don't, I'm going to feel pretty bad about things. I guess a 2-drop would be an okay draw. Oh, that's gross. Alright, well. So now bad things are going to start happening with Gev. We have lots of ways to kill him, but we don't currently have them, and obviously our mana's not looking great. So... Play a lizard, have it enter with a counter is the play here. They can even attack here, and I don't really have a good block, which kind of stinks. Yeah. We take 3. Like, I could double block, right? If I'm worried about them putting counters on things. But the fail case here is that they get a 2-for-1, and if they have a trick, it's pretty much... I mean, it's still a 2-for-1, but one that I lose everything I have on board. So I think I just have to take it. I just don't think there's a good chance that it goes well for us if we don't. Wow, they didn't play anything? Intriguing. All right. Well, things are suddenly looking much better. Could have removal, of course. But even if they do, I mean, I'm okay with this. I'm probably going to put Seedglaive Mentor in front of Gev here if it attacks us again. Since I have another one in my hand and everything. Yeah, so these are both going to enter with extra counters, which is not fun. Well, I could slam another Mentor here. Would have been really nice to draw a land so I could use Bravekin Duo's ability. But I could play another Mentor here and swing with both of them. They probably block with Steam Path Charger and their token, though, so it's not exactly... I think it's better to buff the Mentor with Bravekin Duo and play Nettleguard. Because it goes up to 5/4, so now there's no way they can just block with one thing and kill the Mentor. They have to double block it. Okay, that's fine. Yep, we take 1. Then we play Nettleguard. Our deck has felt like we have like 16 lands in it, or 15 even. It's gone okay, but you know. Yeah, they can use this now and draw. I would probably discard Repel Calamity at this point. I'd be pretty happy if that's how they spent their turn, frankly, given what our board looks like. Yeah, that's less good. I can kill that with Repel Calamity, though, so kind of okay with it overall, actually. I do think that's what we want to do, because it opens up the board a lot for us. Ooh, Scales of Shale for 1 mana is nasty. Okay, well, so much for that plan. We do just buff our Mentor here and pass. Now if they use that thing to make us discard, I don't have as good of a choice. I mean, it's probably... I'm probably supposed to hold on to the Swan, I would think. Scales of Shale is gross when it's 1 mana. Blanks removal. Okay, well, I'll take 5. Gives me a much better board. So yeah, I think we play Mentor number 2 here. Buff it with Bravekin Duo and swing with everything but the Swordmaster. Yeah. If they have another Scales of Shale, this is going to go really badly for us, but what can you do, you know? Gotta block one of them. Ooh. Scales of Shale. I just can't imagine they'd block like that. Yeah, I was going to say... I just don't think it would go down like that if they don't have it. Well, we're in some trouble. Especially if they kill our Seedglaive Mentor here. Like, Scales of Shale is going to beat us either way, you know. Yeah, that's bad. So now we have to block Gev with our Swordmaster. I don't know that we have any real outs. I guess... Ooh, no, well, now we can't even do that. So we definitely don't have any outs. Yeah, that one did not go well for us. Those 2 Scales of Shale were the difference makers, and yeah, I mean, that's what a... 1 mana trick that counters removal spells and gains you life and multiple other things. That's what it'll do. Okay, this is probably the best hand we've had so far, just because we have, like, a real 2-drop, and, you know, sadly, that's enough right now for us to get a good hand. Ooh, now it got even better, I think. Alright, well, let's send in the Mentor. Decent chance it gets countered or something, but that's okay. Or maybe not. So, if we can Intrepid Rabbit this next turn... I mean, there's also Feather of Flight, which is pretty good. Looks like maybe our Mentor's dead. This card's tough to make work. Yeah, they're going to kill our Mentor. Probably a good call before things get out of control. Would I rather Pathmaker here than Intrepid Rabbit? I think maybe I would. Pathmaker, I mean, I can use the Rabbit's triggers later to help me push through damage against a larger creature, so I think I probably... Yeah, I think we just Pathmaker here. Okay. The other Intrepid Rabbit has arrived. Their own Pathmaker, yeah. So... got some options here. I mean, I think we do... I think this is what we do. And I think we put both buffs on the Gerbil so that it's a 3/5. So this, or a 4/5, this can't kill it. And they'll block our Pathmaker. Having one worm white mana there would have been would have made a big difference, but we weren't quite there. We'd have another Intrepid Rabbit. Not to mention Feather of Flight, which gives us a good shot at pushing some damage through, I think. Yeah, Harnesser of Storms. Drawing another white would be really good because I'd be able to... Yeah, they're going to draw some cards here. Yeah, don't do it, though. If I drew another white, I'd be able to... play the Rabbit and Feather of Flight. So, I do think it makes the most sense to play Feather of Flight here. Buff both. Do I buff both of these? Or do I just put both on Intrepid Rabbit and attack with it? I can still attack with Jolly Gerbils. If I put... No, because I don't have double white. Yeah, so let's play another Rabbit. So where do the buffs go? It's the second one that I'm iffy on. Pushing through damage now is a lot better when I have Feather of Flight. Because if I buff the Rabbit, they block. Well, they're still going to take 2, I guess, aren't they? Yeah, okay. We'll put both buffs on the Rabbit, and then attack with both of these. And if they decide to just block the Gerbils... Yeah, so we still drop them to 7. So I'm hoping with Feather of Flight plus attacking with everything I can get lethal here. Hopefully they don't have the 2 damage to everything. This is where it's good. You know, this is where that card makes the most sense, is in blue-red. It's pretty good against us. Our Gerbils would survive, though, so it's not like we'd be done. Well, no, it wouldn't, because they'd give us a gift and kill our Gerbils, too. Alright, shove our poor Rabbit token. I don't know what he ever did to you, but... Okay. I think Feather of Flight pretty much gives us lethal here. It's a question of whether... Yeah. Let's attack with everything. I could cast it now, but then if they have bounce or something... Yeah, let's wait for them to block, and maybe they'll try to cast bounce, and I can... Yeah. So this is 6 damage. So if they are going to cast bounce, obviously I'd prefer my Rabbit to be what gets bounced. So... Hey, look, more white mana. Looks like we do lethal. Yeah. Yep, that worked out. Okay. Looks like a pretty good hand, especially if we can draw the 3rd land. Would be nice to draw a card with our Gerbils at some point, but we've only got 1 card that'll do it, so probably shouldn't expect it. Hey, this is like my 2nd favorite sleeve on Arena. I had it for a while. Before the rat one came out, I had the Birds of Paradise. Yeah, we're going to need that 3rd land. I mean, we do have to take out the trash to kill whatever they play here, so if we miss our 3rd land drop, it's not a disaster. But, like, it's not good either. That's a body that we'd love to be able to... Alright, yeah. So we can just go... Seedglaive Mentor. Attack with both. So... Yeah, now we have a couple removal spells online. Ideally, we can just keep hitting them for 5 while we... excuse me. Kill things. pretty annoying. The only good news is if they do blink it, it comes back as a 0-2. It'll put the counter over here. Which the ward, like, matters, because... Okay, not matters less. Because the rabbit, yeah, the rabbit enters... I mean, I'd love to wait, but it's just too good here to play the rabbit, buff this, swing for 5. So... We need one more land to Vanishing Light the Lurker. Take out the trash won't get the job done, obviously. Would have been great to wait till I had 4 mana, but we didn't really have another very good play. So I think doing that and pushing the damage through, making our Mentor big enough to trade with the Lurker was probably the right thing to do. Oh, God. So now, if I use a removal spell, they get to put counters all over the place. Well, maybe we won't have to use a removal spell. Yeah. I think we just send our Mentor into the air here and hit them for 6. Hope that we can sort of just Voltron our way to victory. It's not going to take much. I mean, we would need one more targeting effect for lethal. No, they'll be at 8. So it'd need to be a buff effect, but that targets, which we do have, but yeah. Ooh, that's bad. God, I hate cards like High Stride. Okay. Well, that probably means we lose. I really, you know, this kind of card isn't good most of the time, but when it gets you, it gets you. And this is going to get us here. Oh. Yeah, and if we had one more mana, we could at least finish the Lurker off, but we don't. So, God. Like, the reason this normally isn't good is because it's a defensive trick, and defensive tricks are highly dangerous because your opponent has mana available. But in that situation, they knew between ward and everything, it was highly unlikely I'd kill their Lurker, and so just wrecks me. It's not quite a 2-for-1 because I did draw off of Feather of Flight, thank God. But yeah, the bad news is, like I said, our removal is really bad right now because if I try to kill something, they get counters. So it's not so good. I'm probably going to kill this recruit, though, at the end of their turn. Either way, I mean, they're going to get to put 2 counters in places, but I'll be able to untap and play Banishing Light on whatever they put the counters on, most likely. I guess we'll see. We haven't completely lost yet, you know. I had an overreaction for sure. Okay, nope. Can't take out the trash because it's got Ward 1. The Ward 1 is really frustrating. I'd like it if they put it on the recruit, because then I can hit it with, okay, well, that works for me. See if it resolves. The opponent still has mana untapped after all. so this could go badly. Yeah, put some counters in some places. Do kill that. And you don't get a counter or life. So that ended up being an okay deal in the end, I think. They do have 3 cards, so they get to draw here. So I think we got to kill Long River Lurker. The annoying thing is they're going to get a counter when I do it. Well, I guess I could just play the Pathmaker, honestly, now. It's a pretty decent body here. There's no reason I need to rush things right now. It's not like I have good attacks anyway. So yeah, let's play the Pathmaker here. Alright, we get a land. And we pass. I mean, their deck definitely has the edge in a long game because they have things like Splash Portal and other things to recur their ETBs. So it's not like we want the game to go long, but I think playing out the Pathmaker, seeing what happens, was the right thing to do. I think we just take 2 if this attacks us. Yeah. Okay. This card seems sort of out of place in this format to me, but if you're splashing, it's obviously a way to do it. They are down to just 1 card in hand, which I like. So we're going to attack with our Pathmaker here. Probably they trade with the Druid. Or, I mean, they might take 4. See if they have... Is the last card in their hand another trick? No, it is not. So, if I play Banishing Light here, they get to put a counter on Treetop Sentries. It'll become a 3/5. I mean, that's bad, but it's not the end of the world. And getting rid of the Lurker... No, the Lurker's a pretty good attacker on this board. I probably should get rid of it. Yeah, that's what we'll do. There's a chance they're splashing some big scary thing that I'm going to wish I had this Banishing Light for, I guess. But, yeah, they get to put a counter. Probably on their sentries. You do have a bunch of mana. That is for sure. Oh. Oh. Okay. Yeah, well, now I really wish I'd held on to my Banishing Light. Yeah, I don't really think we have a way to win now. Should have listened to my second guessing myself. So they're going to make a 1/1 prowess every turn. Well, maybe they'll draw a bunch of cards. That's pretty good too. You know, it is down to 2 loyalties, so I can potentially deal with it a few different ways. Ugh, not like that, though. We're going to crack this right away. I guess Head of the Homestead maybe makes the most sense. Yeah. Yeah. Although, no, they have a reach creature and a flyer, so having 1 flyer of my own isn't that great. And the Mentor's not very good here either. It's just too late in the game. So, we'll get Head of Homestead. I mean, it gives us sort of a puncher's chance with our Mass Pump spell. Like, that's the one thing that we could do, but, you know. They're likely to just outvalue us with Raw. Yeah, I mean, that gives us a little more of a chance at finding lethal, although I guess only one of our creatures is a mouse right now. Yeah, it's not worth it to attack here. I mean, yeah, it just isn't.
Together we can shift the current.
It's kind of weird to me that Rawl's voice is still completely normal, even though he's an otter, but I guess that's that's what's going on in this plane. God, I'm still so sad about that turn where they just destroyed our Seedglaive Mentor. That was the turning point. Okay, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. They just need to cast like one spell. No, I mean, they have lethal in many different ways. I can use Thistledown Players here to untap this, which will buff both of these. And I guess that's kind of an okay attack. I mean, I think our best chance is to try to take down Rawl and hope we draw something. Why aren't you all mice? Yeah. That's what I'm thinking of doing. Sending in everything that... has 3 power. So, like, the blocks they have aren't that good other than treetop sentries. And I still hold on to 2 blockers. So I could send in the 2/3 too. They have all these cards in their hand, so I highly doubt this is going to work out, but... you know. It is what I think gives us our best shot. They might just let Rawl die and, like, block and kill my best creature here. But like I said, they also probably have mana. You really want to kill our gerbils, huh? I'm a little surprised by how aggressively they're blocking. I feel like if it were me, of course I don't know what's in their hand, maybe they've drawn all lands or something, but if it were me, I think it'd just be like, okay, Rawl's dead, I'll kill your best creature on a block, and then swing back at you for a bunch of damage. But if their hand is nothing, and they really need to use Rawl's draw 3 ability, I guess maybe you gotta do this. But, like, they're still letting Rawl die, so what's the point? I'm confused. Let's see what happens here. They've got something. Okay, dire downdraft, yeah.
I've calculated exactly what I need.
I think we gotta bottom it. Ah, so Rawl barely stays alive because they cast a spell. Yeah, okay, okay. Makes sense. And they did thin out our board significantly. We thinned out theirs some, but when they have a token-generating Planeswalker, that matters a heck of a lot less. Yeah, I mean, they can just swing now. We are going to take 6. Yeah, that is game over. Oh, that swingy play was so brutal on that trick. It'll be interesting, you know, we did have a version of that trick have a good win rate once, the +1/+3 reach trick, but it was one that gave a reach counter, I feel like, in a format where counters mattered. Most of the time, they just don't perform well, but they have moments where they crush people, but there are way too many moments where they don't do much. Where has Salvation Swan been? I don't think this is a situation where I play out the Swordmaster on one. I mean, maybe it is. Yeah, I'm going to do it because... I mean, there's just so many things we can draw that will help the situation. Of course, land is not it, but, you know. It is something. Yeah, I mean, our curve is far from perfect, but it's really felt like we've had an incredibly difficult time just, like, drawing hands that curve out. I mean, we've done okay despite that, but yeah. Do I want to Banishing Light this thing? I probably do in a world where I want my Seedglaive Mentor to be able to get in there. Yeah. We will get to play our Swan at some point here. Alright. So I like this because I can play the Mentor now without any issues. I may as well swing with both of them. On the off chance I have the 1 white mana trick, which would have been nice in our deck. They're, you know, they're in a tough spot. And, you know, that's why they just took it. So if I can untap and have Salvation Swan ready to go, that'll be good. The bad news is, blinking this, sure, it'll put a counter on it. But it will also lose the counter when it comes back. So I don't think we bother with Take Out the Trash here. I think we just swing with both, and if they try to use like Sonar Strike or whatever, we do the Salvation Swan thing. They have their own Salvation Swan. How do you like that? So we're going to kill theirs with our Take Out the Trash, I think. They are going to blink their Clifftop Lookout for value here, but that's okay. We will kill their Swan so that our Seedglaive Mentor survives. Yeah. Crack in for 4. I may crack Lupin Flower Village at the end of this turn. I probably will. I have plenty of mana. I mean, I'd like more red mana, but other than that, grabbing another actual creature while we have the mana up to do it is probably worth doing. Yeah, that's a bunch of bodies. Yeah, and that works pretty well, too. So yeah, let's crack our Lupin Flower Village. So many choices. The Intrepid Rabbit is pretty darn good here. How big can it get if I double target? It'll be 6/5. So they can block and kill it, but they have to do so much work to do it that it's probably... Oh, and I'm also going to buff here. Yeah. Yeah, let's grab a rabbit. Yeah, I think that's probably better than trying to do Salvation Swan here. So we're definitely doing this. Question is, do I put the other buff on the Swordmaster, which will also give more power to the Mentor, or do I go for 6/5? Because if I go with 6/5, I can kill everything. Yeah, it's better to just buff the Mentor again, as nice as it seems to do this, because they have to block with everything but like one creature to kill our Mentor if we buff it again. And right now they can just double block it, but or triple block it, which I think is significantly less. I mean, the upside about buffing the Swordmaster is it'll become a 3/3, and this will become a 6/4, so it's still blockable in the same way. Which is better? Maybe it is. I think it is better to buff the Swordmaster. Yeah. It sends in way more total damage when they're at low life. And if they want to kill the Mentor... Oh, they're going to do it that way. I'm a little surprised by that. Okay. So now we'll Salvation Swan on Intrepid Rabbit, probably. Then we get the ETB. Yeah, that's annoying. Really annoying. Okay. Alright. 6 mana. So... this would become a 6/5. I'm probably supposed to wait till the end of their turn and then flash in the Swan. Yeah. I think we're okay with taking this hit. I mean, we'll have lethal in the air even if they go to 6. Okay, another Paw Patch recruit. I think that just means we win. They don't have reach, right? No. So yeah, we go Salvation Swan. There's 3 flying damage. We will blink our rabbit. Oh, I did it at the... Why does Magic Arena do this? I mean, it's my fault, for sure. But, like, Arena, when you have a card like the Swan, should give you the hold automatically. But I needed to be in full control mode, you know, in order for it to blink back at the right time. So now we're not going to have lethal. Let's play our Pathmaker and see what happens. Now they may be able to survive because I am not good at using Magic Arena correctly. So, alright, so we're going to attack with our Salvation Swan. Drop them to 3. In the turn, we get this back now. Put the counter here, or the buff. So now, I mean, they have a lot of ways out of this, thanks to my mistake. Because we definitely had lethal. If I had done it, like, in response to them casting the Hazard Root Herbalist, or had full control mode on and done it before it went to the end step. Let's hope they don't have a way out, because that would be really frustrating. Yeah. Well... all we need to do is hold on to these 2 and hope they don't have anything. So, I mean, I think that's doable. So they can buff their whole board. That's worth remembering here. God, I'm so mad. The lessons you learn, though. See, I was showing you all a lesson in how not to play Salvation Swan on Arena. Right. So they're going to buff their whole board. I should block in such a way... You're going to chump that. So if I block here... Then we take 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they're going to go to 7 here, aren't they? Because of the lifelink. Which will not allow me to do lethal necessarily next turn. Yeah, but this is how we're going to block. I mean, if they don't kill our mentor... Okay, they've got something else planned, I'm sure. We know we've got Roughshod Duo. Oh, they did only go to 6. What kind of math was I doing? Thank God we still won. Still, it's better to teach you a lesson on how to play it while I still win than it is for me to lose. That one extra turn we gave them was frightening. Frightening to give it to them, but we were able to endure. Okay. Looks pretty solid. Hey. It's a mirror match. Maybe. They may not actually be red-white like we are. I'm leaning towards playing the Rallier on 2 because then I can buff the Mentor to 4-3 right away. So I think playing the Rallier makes more sense than playing the Gerbils for that reason. Give it double haste, you know? Yeah, if their plan is just a buff here, I think we're pretty happy with that. Yeah, we're just going to take 3. Now we go Mentor. So it does actually result in less damage, but I think the permanent buff makes it worth it. It's 1 less damage for a permanent 4/3, which puts it out of range of a bunch of removal. So yeah, I think we do it. 1 less damage now for more damage / more resilience later. Plus we have the whole Intrepid Rabbit thing for next turn, which is pretty powerful. Yeah, that Pathmaker is annoying. You know, it's big enough that it's like a pretty big pain in terms of attacking effectively with our Mentor. So we've got some options here. I could Banishing Light the Pathmaker and then use this to buff that and attack with the Rallier too. If I play Intrepid Rabbit and put both buffs here, it'll become a 7/6. So they have a pretty good double block if I do that. So I think the Banishing Light plan makes sense. Yeah. And then we go like this. They can kill our Rallier here if they want to, but I think we're okay with that trade. Yeah, if they kill my Mentor now, that's pretty sad. They did have to spend a bunch of mana to do it, so that makes it less sad for me. Okay, yeah, I think we just Rabbit, hit them for 3 here. Drop them to 6. That does not worry me too much. See if they have removal. Okay, it's effectively a 2-for-1, so could be a lot worse. Now we'll play our Pathmaker. Okay, so I could actually play it this turn, and then next turn do the buff. Is that better than waiting a turn in this case? I think with our opponent at 6, it probably is. Yeah. That was a really good hit off the Pathmaker to just, you know, draw a creature we can play. And one that was going to get buffed in a pretty big way on the next turn. Okay. Not our greatest hand. I think running out turn 1 Swordmaster makes sense again here, although when we're not on the play, it makes a little less sense. It's not like a 1/2 is amazing. I mean, it's never amazing. It is better if I'm on the play, because it's pretty likely to be able to attack at least once, frequently twice. Yeah, let's just do it. It's, I think, worked out every time we have, more or less. I mean, it's not an exciting play, but it's a play. Hey, look at that. We drew a 2-drop, too. I wasn't sure we could do that. We're going to play 1-drop and a 2-drop? Drawing the Swan is always good. Yeah, so we're going to just kill this thing. Attack them for 2. Next turn, there's a good chance I just pass and leave up the Swan, although there's, you know, something to be said for waiting. Yeah, they do, they have loaded their graveyard effectively, and there's a Wix Patrol in there. Yeah, I'm probably just going to pass and leave up the Swan. I mean, if nothing else, it will allow us to blink our Swordmaster, bring it back as a flyer, which is better, obviously. Yeah, that doesn't worry me too much. Life drain happens. So we're going to block here and then blink our Swordmaster. This time we're actually going to get our creature back at the right time. How about that? Well, we're going to attack for 5. And I think we play Pathmaker. If we had a Plains, we can play the Duo too. Yeah. They could have the 1 blue bounce spell. It kind of looks like they do. It's not especially good to use on any of these, though. It's kind of awkward against all of them. I mean, you get some tempo, I guess, if you bounce the Swan, and it's not like the Swan... The Swan can't actually blink anything right now, either, because... So I guess bouncing the Swan makes some sense. Because... Yeah, it wouldn't be able to blink anything. It would just... Because it can only blink non-flyers, and right now everything is flying, so... Alright, so let's play our Pathmaker. Well, we hit a land. It wasn't a Plains, but that's okay. We can play our Head of the Homestead next. Yeah, we're going to take 3 this time, I think. I mean, swinging with a 4 power creature sounds better. Sounds worth taking 3 damage to me. That's interesting. Okay. Well, we're going to attack with everything. Surely something's going to happen. Yeah, the Ambusher. So what do? Give that the minus. And then block the Pathmaker, I guess? Doesn't worry me too much. So, yeah, I think we play Head of the Homestead, because we pretty much have lethal next turn if it resolves and everything. Also gain a bunch of life. That doesn't hurt. I can play the Duo too. There is a not insignificant chance they have a sweeper. But I think it's probably still worth going for it. If they do have a sweeper, we probably lose either way, because the Monolith is like a card that wins you the game late. Yeah, Wick is pretty sweet. Okay. So I have enough mana that I might be able to hit our haste creature, our 3/2. Yeah, I mean, we kind of have lethal anyway, but it's not necessarily automatic. So let's Lupin Flower Village first. You do have 2 of the 3/2. Yeah, there's one of them. So then we go Mentor. Then we buff the Swordmaster with the duo. And attack with everything. Yeah, they're not... They don't take lethal. I mean, they said good game, but it's not quite good game. It's close to lethal, but... They're just like, get rid of that stupid swan. And they go up to 3. Okay. Now we go Rabbit, Offspring. Yeah. Okay. So this will be our last game, one way or the other. This deck ended up putting up a pretty good record in the end, even though at times it felt kind of awkward in terms of its... It does have a less than perfect curve, but... Yeah, I mean, I think we keep this. We obviously really need to draw red mana, but we have 1-drop into 2-drop. And in this case, I do think we play the duo. Like, if I have another 1-drop and another 2-drop, I'm definitely playing them before I play the Swordmaster, which I'll play on 3, you know? But when I only have 1-drop and I'm an aggro deck, I think playing out the Swordmaster is what makes the most sense. Ugh. Okay, we did draw red, which is nice. Yeah, we could have used a Heartfire Hero. You can grow it pretty well in these decks. I mean, you've seen how we've been able to grow Seedglaive Mentor for comparison. Yeah, now a Brazen Collector. Don't love that either. We are going to have, like, all mice in play for once. Hasn't happened a lot. Freaking first strike. Oh! Yeah, that's a pretty big creature. One that I can't do a whole lot about right this second. Do I play this Offspring, or do I play a Thistledown player? The Offspring thing does mean I can offer up the token and Nettle Guard to try to kill Sunspine Lynx. I mean, it could go really badly if they have a trick. I'd like to play the Mentor on a turn where I can also Bravekin Duo it anyway. I mean, it'll be able to attack into this thing when I can do that. So yeah, I think we just do this. All the bodies are pretty useful. Yeah, that's no fun. Now I can't kill Sunspine Lynx no matter what I do. I can kill Brazen Collector, though, and I'm probably supposed to. Okay. So yeah, I think play the Mentor, buff it with Duo, try to trade the Mentor for Sunspine Lynx is probably our plan here. I could also just play the Pathmaker and try to trade it for the Lynx, which is not... That is not a terrible plan, actually. Saves the Mentor for cleanup duty later. Yeah, alright. I think I like that. Ah, Repel Calamity's a nice hit because I can use it to kill the Lynx. Now I don't really even need to trade. I can blow this up. Oh, no, I can't. They hit my net. That's why they hit my Nettle Guard. Yeah, I think we take the 5 when we have a free Repel Calamity lying around. Hard not to. Which of these do I want to kill more? I mean, this needs an enabler to really be a scary attacker, and this doesn't really. So, yeah. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and kill the Lynx. And I think we'll play Thistledown players. Yeah. And I think we'll pass. I mean, we're at low enough life that we can't just, like, not try to trade for that Veteran Guard Mouse. Which I think we'll try to do. I mean, if they use a trick to blow us out, that's fine. I mean, it's not fine, but it's not the end of the world if we block with Pathmaker and they buff it. They don't have, like, a free way to buff it on board right now. If they did, that's when things can get bad. So they have all these cards with, ooh, hello there. Wish I had more red mana, but that is a pretty good draw. It's not a perfect one, though. I think we have to hold on to it for a bit. They're, like, waiting for an enabler, basically. And if they find one, it's not going to be great for us. So yeah, let's play our Mentor here. Do this. But I don't think we attack yet. No. I could think about it with the Pathmaker, I guess. Trading off for one of these is fine, and getting in for 4... I still kind of need the 4-power body to hang back, honestly, at this point. It's a little too dangerous to try shenanigans. Yeah, if they just drew an enabler, we're in trouble. If they can target that Seedglaive Mentor... Oh, they drew yet another card with Valiant. Okay, that's interesting. So, play the Provisioner, put the counter on something, and then also buff my Mentor with this. I think I'm going to put the counter on something other than the Mentor, since it's going to keep getting buffed on its own. So, yeah, we'll play Pileated Provisioner. Making something else, like making this into a 4/4 is pretty good right now. And then we'll also do this and pass. We're definitely in the worst spot here because we're at way lower life and they just need to draw an enabler for the most part. And they keep not drawing them, which is good for us. But yeah. Okay, so I think I'm going to do... I give them a food, right? So I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to do this. I'm going to attack with all 3 of these. Does Pathmaker get in there too? The problem is how easily they can do damage on the backswing. Five, 9, 10, 12, 13. This will be untapped, and then I'm also going to untap the Provisioner. Well, actually, I'll probably... The players will untap themselves. And depending on how they block, I can use Valley Rally to either produce a blowout, or if they don't block at all, we just win. See what they do here. There's a lot of blowouts that can be produced here. If they just like chump and stuff, I'd probably just play Pathmaker #2 in our second main phase. Like, if they just block this or something. Okay, well, now we go for the blowout, I think, because we can kill both of those creatures and buff this in a big way. That's going to die too. Yeah, we'll also do a bunch of damage, so... Give this first strike so that it kills both of those. This will also die, and we're okay with that trade, yeah. So we'll go Valley Rally. We'll give them a food. Well, that might have shifted the game. They're still like one enabler away from a pretty scary turn. Yeah, they didn't draw one. Luckily for us. Awesome. So now we just get the 3/4 out of the way. Yeah. Yep, we'll put the buff here, because then they have no way of killing it. Down to 4 they go. Now one enabler is probably not enough. I mean, it does draw them a card effectively. All right. Yeah, they drew poorly, but I'll take it. We got a 7-win red-white mice deck. Yeah. Lots of Valiant, lots of mice. We did have one really good rare in Salvation Swan, but we didn't have like a bunch of crazy bombs or anything. I mean, we had that one. That's it. All right. Well, thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next draft video.